Monday reaction show, and once again, Arsenal don't come away with a victory at Anfield up north, despite our fantastic form this season. We've lost to Man United in the Grey Sox, lost to Liverpool in the Grey Sox, and obviously Everton and Manchester City as well. We've got two more big up north trips to go at the Etihad and St James's, and we're going to have to probably get 4 points from those two trips up north in order for us to be champions. Confidence took a bit of a knock, especially in that second half, the way Arsenal allowed Liverpool. Well, first of all, we got into a situation, same as last season, where we were able to get the Liverpool fans back into the game from a noise standpoint and from, that Anfield spirit standpoint, which has been discussed in many platforms over the last week or so, where Arsenal just simply cannot fall for that. And they unfortunately did. Once again, the same player. And you can't really blame him because he's passionate. And it's very difficult to put blame to Xhaka after just this one. Obviously, last season he got sent off at Anfield in a 0-0 draw in the Carabao Cup, and I thought that we were going to be in a situation where he's learned from that, he's able to control himself, but that was not the case, unfortunately. And from that moment onwards, whether you blame Xhaka personally or not, from there onwards, things went wrong. Arteta did say in the press conference that we could have actually been 3-0 shortly after that incident, but then after that moment, which is also a key moment in the game, Liverpool scored. Once again, very poor defending from Arsenal at that time. They were actually quite compact in defence. They were controlling the game for most of the first 30 to 35 minutes. Once again, there's a theme where we're controlling games for a period of time, we're scoring. However, against the lesser teams, they didn't really punish us that much. They did end up scoring, especially in this run of 7 games, where Arsenal controlled games, scored goals, looked really good. And then there was a period where we are seemingly trying to either conserve energy, which we don't need to. We're playing once a week, so the conserving energy excuse shouldn't be there. But I just felt that there were signs in this run of 7 straight wins before yesterday's draw that there were periods in the game. And obviously it's very difficult to control, especially against big teams. You can't control the game the entire 90 minutes. Arsenal did so for about 40 minutes, lost their heads, and Liverpool were allowed back in the game. And then that type of performance that they had against Man United, the 7-0, the performance they had for most of the Man City game at Anfield, and then that performance that they generally have against us in the beatings that we've had in the past. So when you look at it that way, to come away with a 2-2 draw, especially with the saves that Ramsdale had to make, then you look at it more from a positive standpoint. But let's get to the positives. Arsenal were absolutely exceptional. Played Liverpool off the park. Listen to this. They played Liverpool off the park for the first 30 minutes, maybe slightly more. They couldn't get near us. High intense start, and maybe you could say that Liverpool kept a little bit, of energy in. I don't think so. But it was weird. 2 things. Liverpool just had a game. Yes, they made changes. They had just had a game a couple of days ago, but they seem to have more energy at the end of the game than us. Remember, Liverpool have probably played more games than us this season. You could say that Arsenal's starting team probably played more than Liverpool's starting team because they've got a slightly wider squad. They can make changes. But I don't like the fact that they were able to dominate in that second half by such an extent that it looked like Arsenal played a couple of days ago. So that I don't like. I don't like the fact that we weren't able to control large parts of the game, and I also don't like the substitutions. But going back to the start, Arsenal were absolutely amazing. Played Liverpool off the park for that first 30 minutes or so, and then obviously we just sat deep. I don't know why. At times it looked like we were pushing for that third goal, and then we allowed them back in with stupid chances, especially Salah that got in behind our defence. So obviously we've got that inverted role of our fullbacks, and that's generally where Jota and Salah got the space they needed to be able to create problems. So what a goal from Martinelli, a toe poke touch or whatever you like to call it, and then Robertson, who tried to kick the ball away, couldn't kick the ball away, and the ball slid into the back of the net. 1-0 to Arsenal, Martinelli goal, and then a fantastic Martinelli run, great assist, and Jesus header, fantastic 2-0 Arsenal. And at that stage a lot of people would have felt comfortable. I've obviously got that PTSD when it comes to Arsenal, post post-traumatic disorder when it comes to Arsenal. And I personally didn't think. I know how Liverpool play. I know how they get riled up in games. And some of the dark arts, they out-dark arts us. There were certain games this season where we out-dark arts other teams. But Liverpool clearly, with that experience of winning the Champions League, winning the league, and pushing Man City all the way. They brought that experience in the final 45 minutes of the game, which they dominated. They probably should have won. They had a penalty, even though Holding had a very good game. The one moment, again, lack of concentration, or just not really being assisted by the rest of the team. Thomas Partey, Xhaka, Ben White, and then Gabriel allowed Liverpool to get a... I must watch it again. I need to watch it a couple of times again in order to be convinced that it wasn't a penalty or that it was a soft penalty, but it was a penalty. And then Mohamed Salah missing that chance, which if he scored, Liverpool would have gone on to win by a couple of goals. Despite Arsenal dominating the first 30 minutes and going 2-0 up against a team that they've struggled, Liverpool could have won this game by a couple of goals. However, you then come back to say Arsenal had 2 chances in the second half other than the 2 goals, and they had 2 chances in the first half other than the 2 goals. So Arsenal could have had 4 or 5 today as well. Same with Liverpool. So it could have been a 4-4 or 5-5 draw if the teams were clinical. But it was helter-skelter football, a heavy metal football as they like to call it, and that's exactly what Jurgen Klopp wanted. And some of our players got riled up, and the occasion, the reality is, got too much for some of our players. I'm not going to name names. Could be the system as a whole, and it could be the manager as well, showing his lack of experience, which shouldn't be, even though he was assistant coach. He's been through these Manchester City league wins with Manchester City against Liverpool. So that part's also a little bit disappointing. And then, there were so many things that was disappointing. And the main thing is we were 2-0 up and we couldn't finish the job. A league-winning team would have finished the job. Doesn't matter how good Liverpool are. Liverpool would have finished the job if they were in our situation at the Emirates Stadium, 2-0. And in fact, they did when they were running for the league. They won 3-0. Consistently at the Emirates. So there's still a couple of things that we need to look at holistically. And when you analyze previous winning teams, you can look at this as our goalkeeper was excellent, made important saves. He's actually been excellent for quite some time. I think I've mentioned in my Tuesday show, which comes out on a Wednesday, the Gunning Truth YouTube show. I've mentioned on the Sunday Off Your Game show with Josh, Liverpool fan. I've mentioned it on my podcast. Despite Arsenal's fantastic form in the 7 games before Sunday's draw with Liverpool, so the 7 wins after the City game, almost every game Ramsdale had to make a very important save. So is that lack of concentration? Is that the reality of you cannot dominate a game for 90 minutes? Your level does drop within games, minus the fact that your form can drop over a period of time. So there's just too many factors in a reaction video to go through, and I will deep dive into that on Tuesday evening when I record The Gunning Truth podcast on YouTube. So please tune in for that. The Gunning Truth show is going to be on YouTube. You can just type in The Gunning Truth on YouTube and all my videos are there. I record a reaction video, which is this one, on a Monday. I posted on a Monday. I've already posted the Off Your Game Premier League show where we previewed some of the games with a Liverpool fan, obviously. That came out yesterday. Sundays, every Sunday afternoon, you will have it on YouTube. And then on a Tuesday evening, I record the Tuesday evening show. That will be posted on a Wednesday, and the Gunning Truth podcast, which is heading towards 40 episodes. So it will be the 40th episode this coming Friday afternoon, where I review the Liverpool game and I look ahead to West Ham on Sunday next week. So just key things that I will be talking about on the YouTube show. The phenomenal 40 minutes, which I have said, I felt we played them off the par for about 30 odd minutes. And just look at the way they changed things in the second half. In comparison to that first 40 minutes. Could be Arsenal, could be Liverpool. You have to really analyze deep when it comes to that and know what goes on behind the scenes in terms of who's 70% fit, who's 90% fit, who's all there, who's mentally there, because that is what it's going to be coming down to. And just another note, Arsenal are 6 points clear. Man City have a game in hand, and Man City host us up north at the Etihad, a place where we haven't won. And we lost already to them twice this season. So I think it's time to change that. A lot of people feel that if we can get a draw there, that should be enough. There's 7 other games as well. So a lot of things to look at when you think about Arsenal's draw yesterday. You get the positives, led 2-0, could have lost the game despite leading 2-0, ended up drawing. So you take it that way. And yeah, I did predict the draw in the first place. More than a month ago when I went through the fixtures, I said that Arsenal will get 1 point out of 6 over the 2 games against Man City. The key is, I feel Man City will drop, and that is the hope that the FA Cup semi-final and the Champions League quarterfinals will take a lot out of them. I'm hoping so. And yes, they've got a bigger squad, but when you make a couple of changes in the key run-in, can you do so? Because it's all big games, so you have to play the strongest possible team, and can they keep up their performance levels? That is my hope, because Arsenal might drop some more points as well, especially with the game becoming thick and, well, I won't say thick and fast, because Arsenal's playing once a week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but yeah, I'm unhappy. I'm slightly discontent from Arsenal still has that in them to bottle things. And you can look at it that Arsenal bottled the game. I don't think so. I don't think we bottled the game. I think we were fantastic for 40 minutes, allowed them back in through various instances. And here we are, 2-2. Liverpool Arsenal. I will review it more in depth on my Tuesday show, The Gunning Truth on YouTube. And then we'll have a look at the teams, look at the opportunities, look at what could have happened, what will happen, and what Arsenal can and cannot do going forward. Up the Gunners.